All right, so I was going to tell you a story about how I moved my office onto Manhattan Hill and offered a free class in anthropology. Started out here, and this is like my big class, 450 students over in Umberger 105. And I used to teach this in a really traditional way, you know, like big textbook, very expensive textbook. And in 2014, I started to notice things were changing, and I knew I had to change along with them. So some of the new realities by 2014 was there was more disengagement, there were falling attendance, fewer majors, budget callbacks, and numbers were starting to matter more than ever. And so 2 years later, we lost a couple of lines, and because of the budget callbacks, we didn't have any way to replace those lines. So at that same time in 2016, we decided to see if we could teach online to increase enrollment and pay for those lost lines. So we brought a team together. First, we brought in Ryan Klataski, who'd been teaching online since 2004. Then we brought in, this is Tom Woodward, sometimes called the bionic teacher because he's like an ed tech guru. He's at Virginia Commonwealth University. And then there was me, and I'll just call me the skeptic in this case because I was still like really concerned about online teaching. I thought it would feel like homeless, kind of rootless, like no way to like really carry people through the course. And more than anything, I worried that it would be lonely. And I really worried about what it'd be like to not have a classroom. So my first lecture, I decided to just go out and see if I could lecture like while running, like actually just lecturing about the human capacity to run really far and great distances by actually lecturing while I ran. I learned how to fly a drone while I was running. That was fun. And had this big epiphany here.
This is like the best classroom ever. I love teaching out here.
And then I had this epiphany that not only could I be out in the world, but I could send my TAs out in the world.
My name is Ben, and I'm in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm in Barcelona, Spain.
I'm Amy, and I'm headed to Samoa.
I'm Darren Wilkinson, I'm here in Zambia. Let's go, Zambia, let's go.
And so then later in the semester, I had this suit that was made in Vietnam, and I was lecturing about globalization. And so I just decided to go actually visit one of the TAs who happened to be in Vietnam at that time.
You excited, Henry?
What's up, guys? We only puked like 30 times on the way here. So we went out and we actually found like people who made suits like the one I had. He might have made the suit I had. He wasn't sure like what labels go on the stuff that he makes later. But he actually took me out to meet some of the people who work for him, and we got to interview people.
Yeah,
$10 a day.
that's the average, not average, higher. We got average.
So then we weren't only like going around the world, but also doing things locally. So this is a thing I did with a former student in Kansas City. And we just walked around and tried to show like the racial disparities and how the so-called Troost Wall was built through structural racism. And that had a really big impact. We shared all this stuff through YouTube and Facebook and so on. And this one actually ended up reaching over 2 million people, and over 1 million people engaged in it. But really the main purpose of all this was just to show students that you could actually get out and experience difference and experience differently and experience more. And so the way we framed the class was around 10 lessons that would then have 10 challenges. And so every lesson has a challenge with it, and you have to get out in the world and really do something with it. That's all put into a free textbook on a free website. And so just for example, like this is lesson 1, and this lesson 1 is pretty simple. People are different. And then the challenge for lesson 1 is to go out and actually meet people who are different from you and talk to them, and then share their stories on Instagram using hashtag Anth101. So, you know, people went out and met Alma at the food truck. This is a student who went to Walmart and encountered this couple, and it says here, "What's your favorite thing about being in love with each other?" He says this, and then he starts up his motorcycle and rides off into the sunset. Or this one, and she said, I'm pushing carts now to get in shape for my surgery. I'm donating my kidney to my sister. Wow, you're a hero. No, I'm no hero. Just making my world a better place like I'm supposed to do. And he says, I met Leia while she was frantically trying to save the life of a baby bird whose wings had gotten crushed by a shopping cart. Then I looked at that tattoo on her arm. So there's all these great stories, and these then flow right back to our website, thanks to some of the magic from the bionic teacher, Tom Woodward. And so all the Instagram posts come back to the website, and students can actually see what's happening with other students, or they can just follow along on Instagram. In lesson 3, we talk about how it was asking questions, making connections, and trying new things that brought us down from the trees and took us to the moon. And so students then have the challenge of actually trying new things. And people try backflips, or they pick up a new instrument, or any number of other things like learning a new language, and they really do learn along the way.
Rotate, land. Yes! I'm so proud of you!
And some of these can be, as they aggregate, can be a really transformational experience for students.
Just compounding these 10 challenges into 8 weeks has just super awakening, and I didn't expect to be that to happen. I'm 27, I have gone out to the world and I have experienced things, but yet still this 200 level anthropology class has given me tools to sort of deal with things that I either didn't know I was still dealing with, or have not dealt with completely or in a healthy fashion.
So just by the numbers, just to summarize what's happened since then, we've increased our enrollment by 825 SCHs a year. That brings in $378,000 in annual revenue. We've funded 14 study away experiences for students. We have had about 4.7 to 4.9 on student evaluations. We increased our majors by 10%, and we hired 1.5 new lines, and they're actually here in the room, which is nice. These are real people who are here. And we also have over 30 faculty using the materials worldwide. And just to give you a sense of what that looks like, they're also often using Instagram, so you can kind of just check in these different classes and what they're doing. And sometimes they put videos up, so this is from Ohio State.
Anthropology 2202 was one of the most influential courses that I've taken, because it gave me a deeper meaning of what it is to be a person, participating in culture.
I just highly recommend this class. I think it would be really life-changing, and do some fun stuff with the challenges. Get yourself out there.
So ultimately, when I started this, I thought we would feel kind of homeless, but in fact, now I feel set free. And I thought that the sort of road was blocked, but we ended up finding new paths to go on. And I thought we'd be all alone, but I ended up finding new friends all over the world. So, thanks.